On Outback Truckers,
You get it good, then you get it bad.
Steve Grahame gets a double dose of bad
Christ, that'll take out a diff.
on a brutal lap through the red centre.
It can be 1,000k of pain sometimes.
Desert trucker Barzi
Pretty rough out here.
heads way off the grid
No easy way out of this desert.
on a desperate rescue mission.
Around about where he should be.
And Turbo is back,
That is un-trucking believable.
battling to get his business out of a rut.
Give it go.
On the outskirts of Perth, Steve Grahame is preparing for one of the longest journeys of his fabled 40-year career.
It's another run in the Outback, and this is going to be a good one.
Steve spent a lifetime riding the country's wildest roads,
This is seriously bad news.
cutting his teeth on tracks not built for trucks. Now, with faithful sidekick Teeny, Steve's tackling two of Australia's most notorious dirt roads, the Great Central and the Tanami. And taking on both back to back.
You can get electric ones of these. And you can get old like me and get unfit, so you're better off keeping the manual ones. This is a load of structural steel. This is my first trailer of steel.
Going on the back, 2 trailer loads of house frames for a remote Aboriginal community in Central Australia. It's just the first of 3 separate loads Steve has to deliver on this epic run.
Take the middle road right straight through the guts to Alice Springs, unload this load, and then we're going to put a container of all things furniture, beds and cupboards and things, to take up the bloody Tanami Road, which is not without its challenges.
Making things even tougher, Steve's got just 9 days to do it, or he'll lose his next job.
So I reckon we got about 2,700 kilometres away. I'm going to Alice Springs, 1,000k up the Tanami Road, and then 3,000, just under 3,000 k's back home. So that should be a good little run around the Outback.
From Perth, Steve will cross the Great Victoria Desert to Alice Springs, then head north through the Tanami Desert to Balgo and Halls Creek, before the long road home. It's an enormous loop, covering 6,500 kilometres, and nearly 1/3 of it is bone-jarring dirt.
So let's go, we'll get into it. Right, we're fueled up. Everything looks all right. We're on the road with this load. We're going Outback trucking, anything can happen.
This early in a journey, Steve should be feeling good about his truck, but a recent repair is playing on his mind.
I had a bolt break in the belly tank in one of my trailer fuel tanks. I've replaced that. I've just got to keep an eye on that. That fuel tank may have a bit of a leak in it, and I certainly don't want to run out of fuel out in the middle of the desert.
After 1,000 k's of smooth bitumen, Steve readies himself for the Great Central Road. He lets down his tyres for the battering ahead.
It gives me an easier ride on the corrugations and the bumps, and it does saves the truck.
The repair to Steve's fuel tank seems to be holding up, but under the bonnet, signs of an even bigger problem.
I seem to be developing an oil leak back here I don't like.
If Steve's engine runs dry of oil, it will quickly destroy itself, leaving him stranded, grounding his truck for weeks, and lumping him with a 5-figure repair bill. The Simpson Desert. A barren wasteland half the size of Germany, in the dead centre of Australia. In the Simpson, there are no roads, just shifting tracks across endless sand dunes.
Changes out over here a bit.
With limited supplies of food and water, it's easy to get into serious trouble.
Can't come out here real prepared, otherwise you might get stuck in the desert, you know?
In 2012, a man perished a mere 12 hours after breaking down. It takes a rare breed to drive and survive this desert.
What's to go over this bloody thing here now? Do you know about this, Grant?
On the edge of the Simpson, in the tiny town of Birdsville, 61-year-old Peter Barnes, or Barzi, runs the only garage in town.
I don't think you're going over the desert, is it?
He's been a mechanic for 30 years and a jack of all trades for even longer.
I fix everything. You name it, I don't know, I do everything.
Barnesi's specialty, search and rescue missions deep into the Simpson.
First thing they think is, oh, hell, how am I going to get out of here? But at least help is around.
His secret weapon, the Man. An ex-German army truck that's been modified to go where others can't.
Got a heart of gold, though, this truck.
What it's got is a heavy-duty 13-litre V8 265 horsepower engine. And it's about to be put to its ultimate test.
Like 170 k's from here.
3 men are stranded in the desert, and only Barnzi has the gear and the know-how to find them.
Got a broken axle, I reckon, in a Land Rover.
He's been told they've been there 2 days. He needs to rescue them before they run out of supplies. From Birdsville, he'll head west 170 kilometres deep into the desert to where he thinks the stranded travellers are.
It'd be good to average a bit more than 20 k's an hour, but if that's all it does, well...
But as he gets ready to leave, now a howling wind is blowing across the desert, shifting sand dunes and hiding tracks.
Yeah, I've got to make the car stay on there. It's rough, it's slow.
Barnesi's job has just got a whole lot harder. At his home office in Brisbane, Queensland, Peter Titoff, aka Turbo, has got a lot of time on his hands. It's a far cry from last year, when Turbo was flat out driving his truck.
Now it's world domination for P&J transport.
And flat out building a trucking empire.
Get myself into, 100, 200 trucks.
Pushing himself, his truck and his bank balance to breaking point. Along the bumpy road to riches.
It's a very risky chance I'm taking. It's completely it is.
But now, dreaming big is the last thing on his mind. Turbo's in survival mode. He hasn't had a decent job in weeks.
It just shits me to tears.
As hard as he tries, he can't find a load.
It's been pretty tough, pretty tough.
It's an owner-driver's worst nightmare.
A Fuso tipper truck to go from there to Darwin.
I'll have to get someone to give you a call.
I've actually got a road train sitting here waiting to load to go.
Well, also tell him to check his messages when I see him roll in.
Righto, thanks. Okay, bye.
Work dries up while the bills keep coming. And the lowest of quotes is never quite low enough.
I just gave him a price and he goes, no way, man, that's too expensive.
Truckie by day, roadie by night. For best mate, James.
Don't think there's going to be enough. This is James and Kissy's business. I come in, I assist with setting up, doing sound checks, so just basically a roadie. We have a lot of shits and giggles as we're doing it.
We met years ago at a karaoke, and we just sort of adopted each other as brothers. He treats me better than my own brother, so I consider Turbo family. He's definitely a better trucker than he is at karaoke, I've got to say that.
Next morning,
All right, mate, too easy.
news which is truly music to his ears.
Sunshine Coast to Darwin, 7-metre boat.
The loads start coming, and Turbo's trailers are filling up fast.
If they want it over the weekend, then, mate, I'll be able to be out and gone tomorrow morning, which would put it as Sunday.
as each tonne is booked to his truck.
682. All right, mate, too easy. Thanks, mate. See ya.
Another weight is lifted.
He's confirmed, yep, we want to book it all in. You imagine the world sitting on your shoulder. Well, half of that world has just been lifted off my shoulders. Right now, it's good.
Turbo's back in the game. Steve Grahame's marathon 6,500 kilometre circuit through Central Australia has taken a turn for the worse.
I seem to be developing an oil leak back here I don't like.
He needs to find the source of the problem. But he can't see oil flowing from anywhere.
Might be mess from where the boys service the engine.
Steve hopes it's just spillage from a recent oil change.
Yep.
He'll have to take the risk and get back on the road.
And I'm going to try for about 400 k's tonight. That'll get me out past Chuckarola.
Steve can't have any more delays if he wants to make the 9-day deadline for his next job. 100 k's up the Great Central Road, and Steve hits the end of the maintained track.
The road will get worse. Now I start to worry about how well this freight will handle the Docker River end.
But it's not just hard on the freight. Constant corrugations are hard on the body. A bad road can have 2,000 ridges every kilometre. On a journey like Steve's, that adds up to millions of violent bumps, shaking truck and driver to their very core.
Rough as what we reckon it would be.
Then, through the dust, Steve spots something wrong.
Well, this strap's broken because the road's so badly corrugated. Everything's vibrating and shaking and rattling and rubbing together, bouncing up and down. That's my concern. People don't like to receive their freight broken. With a bit of luck, I'll get to the Olgas by dark.
He submits himself to more punishment.
Might be a long, slow afternoon doing the last couple of 100 k's. That's Outback Trucking, I suppose. You get it good, then you get it bad.
Steve's now endured 400 kilometres of pounding corrugations. And neither the other side of the road nor a slower speed can offer any relief. The sun's almost gone. Driving in the dark on this road would be inviting disaster.
I'll just pull up and keep going in the morning.
Another strap has snapped.
Probably just something sharp up the top there for the corrugations vibrate.
The house frames are holding together, but Steve's schedule is falling apart.
I would have liked to have got to the bitumen tonight, but this road's too rough to go that quick.
Steve needs to be in Alice Springs early tomorrow morning, but with 600 k's still to go, those hopes have been left in the dust.
Where are we?
It's 4 a.m. in Birdsville, Queensland. Barzi has a serious day ahead of him.
Oh, well, we're heading off. 5 hours earlier than I'd like to be awake.
Tourists have broken down 170 kilometres to the west. Barzi's heading into the hostile Simpson Desert to find them.
I never know what's going to happen, so...
But first, he's got to climb a gigantic 40-metre sand dune. So notorious, it's got its own name.
Well, we're just in Big Red now, so this is the start of the sand hills. And if I can leave my tyres up, I do. But it might not go up here, you know.
Strong winds have pushed the sand around, making the dunes softer and boggier.
That lip on the top of those sand hills blown up from that half dust storm yesterday.
He's cleared the first part of Big Red. But a steeper hump is still to come. The truck's tyres are losing grip.
That's the end of us.
Round one to Big Red.
soft down the top. That's from the wind. Blowing up the esty.
He'll have to let his tyres down and hope that'll give him the extra traction to get over Big Red. But with low air pressure, his tyres are at greater risk of puncture.
Gives a bigger footprint, you know, in the sand.
If Barzi can't clear this dune, 3 men will be at the mercy of the desert.
Let's go. See, we'll give this a go.
I was stressing like there was no tomorrow. You know, I could feel my hairs turning grey.
After weeks without a big load, things are moving again for Turbo. 4 different customers urgently need freight moved to Darwin, and they want Turbo to do it.
I can get back to doing what I love and what I do best. Raising hell on the roads.
From Brisbane, Turbo will head north to Charters Towers, before the long haul west to Darwin, a bitumen slog of almost 4,000 kilometres. But most importantly for Turbo, desperately needed cash from this job will go a long way to repairing his hard-hit business.
It's the old saying of Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. But in my case, all the king's men and all the king's horses could put me back together.
Yeah, mate, straight back.
He's got a long day ahead of him, getting 4 separate loads onto his 2 trailers.
As always, go, go, go.
First on the back, a unit to test truck brakes in its own custom-built trailer, worth $150,000.
That's right there, go straight back.
Load number 2, a $50,000 boat for a doctor in Darwin.
I'm just sort of trying to line it up down the centre of the container pins.
You're right.
Now to pick up a truck, load that on, chain it all down.
Hauling different loads for different customers means a lot of extra work for Turbo.
It's just going to be a long day.
Leaving his loaded trailer behind, Turbo heads deep into the suburbs for his final pickup.
This is going to be very friggin' tight.
Turbo has to navigate up suburban streets, not designed for a 20-metre truck and trailer.
I need absolute quiet on this.
He thinks he's nailed it. But his blind spot is much higher up.
Oh,
Extra repair bills are the last thing Turbo needs.
only 200 k's to go to delivery.
In Central Australia, Steve Grahame has left the dirt behind him. He is now getting close to Alice Springs. Problems on the road have cost Steve his unload window.
Just means unloading and reloading will go into tomorrow.
He needs a fast turnaround in Alice to make up time.
I've got 4,000 k to go to get home, and I think it's the 7th today, and I'm supposed to leave for Darwin on the 15th. I've got to keep an eye on the clock here. Well, there's the McDonnell Ranges. I'm just about to get into Alice Springs now and get into the yard. It's good to get here and hand it over to someone else.
But any relief is short-lived. Only 2 workers are available to unload Steve's truck. And worse still, they can't rush it.
These frames, once a lot of the restraints are off, the whole damn lot can come falling over. It has happened, so you can't push them. They've got to just take their time.
Steve is already half a day behind and is worried he'll lose more time on the next leg.
When I think about the Tanami, it's a notorious road. It's 1,000 kilometres of... It can be 1,000 k of pain sometimes. It'd be nice to see it going faster, but you can't make things happen faster. This is going a lot slower than what I thought.
Try as he might, Steve's losing the race against the clock.
I can't make it go faster. And I wonder what's happening now. We might be going for smoko.
It's a standstill. Steve, Teeny and the next load are going nowhere. On his rescue mission into the Simpson Desert, Barzi and his truck may have met their match.
It's off there on the top, that's from the wind.
The sand dune Big Red has forced him to retreat and let down his tyres.
Enough of that messing around.
Less air in his tyres makes them flatter, giving better traction. This time, he makes it.
That's all right, but that's no fun.
But there's plenty more to come.
They can't run up a sand hill quickly, it just climbs every hill.
After lost time on Big Red, Barzi wants to push hard.
You gotta realise it's rough, pretty rough out here.
His biggest weakness are his tyres, especially after he's let them down.
These tyres worry me. If there's any tree roots sticking in, cut the sidewall, that's it, it's all over.
If Barzi gets more than 2 flat tyres, he's finished.
Only got one spare on the thing. Sometimes you wish you had 10.
But each tyre is worth $1,600, a crippling running cost.
Go along this salt edge of this salt lake now for a while. Right back into these sand hills. 160 k's from Birdsville now, and it's fairly remote. Can't come out here real prepared, otherwise you might get stuck in the desert, you know?
For drivers stranded out here, Barnsley's their only hope.
Most people are pretty happy to see you. Looking for this bloke. We're looking for this bloke now, around about where he should be. And what I usually do when I start getting close, start looking up these gullies in case they've just driven up there to camp, you know?
Barnsley's getting worried. He should have found them by now.
Not like we're going too fast in this thing, so it should be able to see him.
He doesn't know how much food and water the tourists have left. And out here, dehydration is a real threat. In suburban Queensland, Turbo's hit a snag.
A tree decided to break my truck.
A tree branch has toppled his exhaust stack. Now his truck is not roadworthy. And to top it off, part of his load is already falling apart.
Sides blown out on the trailer there. What happens, the air actually gets in through the roller door on the back and it's actually blowing the walls out. And so I've put a strap around it to stop it from happening anymore.
But he's got to get on with the job. This family is moving house to Darwin and everything's got to go.
That should fit in there nicely.
While Turbo delegates the heavy lifting,
Go into this corner.
a neighbour offers to work on his blown stack.
Need to loosen it, put it back in and tighten it back up.
Too easy. That's good. The bags that I want to try to put up the back there. See? See? Remote.
Even with help, it's midnight before Turbo has his load on
Go left hand down.
and his truck fixed.
Pretty tight. But it's just the nature of the beast.
Next day, and some welcome news. Best mate and karaoke king, James, is joining Turbo on the road.
James is coming along, one, to help me with the driving. He's also there so he can get his hours up for his road train licence.
Went loose in the Outback.
Hell yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Before the boys can leave, just one last job. Fuel up. Turbo's truck can carry over 1,000 litres of diesel. That's about $1,400 worth.
Not enough money.
Not enough money. I just been in the bank because I had an issue with it last night. I went in the bank, they said it was good to go. See what his card comes up with?
Sure. And we'll go back through. You go through?
Oh, we'll figure something there. That's all we need. My card declined through, and then James went to put his card through and declined through on that. Limits $1,440 odd.
Turbo has been asked to pay up or park up. He's stranded again.
And it all gets back to that eternal time factor.
In Alice Springs, Steve Grahame is fighting a losing battle against a demanding schedule.
I'm still 3 or 4 hours behind where I wanted to be today to get me up that bloody Tanami road as quick as I can.
He now has 6 days to cover 4,000 kilometres, with 2 more deliveries and a pickup.
That's good to see, 2 empty trailers. Now I can rack them and stack them, load the container and go.
The countdown is on. Inside the container, household furniture. For Steve, it's a red flag.
Furniture and the Tanami is definitely not a good combination.
If it's not packed properly, he'll be delivering a container of firewood.
Thank you very much, I appreciate your help.
Thank you very much, too.
With one last push, Steve and Teeny are ready to roll out.
It's good to be on the road again.
It's a smooth start for the next leg. But it doesn't last long.
Well, this is it. We're on the Tanami proper now. And already I can feel those little corrugations pounding into me, just letting me know that we're here.
Steve is still nursing the bruises from the Great Central Road. Now it's the Tanami's turn to shake truck and trucker to their very core.
Around about where he should be.
Deep in the Simpson Desert, Barzi is scouring the sand dunes for 3 stranded travellers.
Normally they'd take it, they're on the side of the road where they stop.
Barzi's come exactly 170 kilometres west of Birdsville to where the tourists should be, but he can't find them. Suddenly, he spots a lone figure.
I was waiting down there on top of a hill, so I suppose that's where the car is. What are you waiting for a ride, mate?
How are you?
Good.
I'm Bill.
Bill, how are you, Bill?
Hello, Barzi. How are you going?
Good.
Just over that rise, down
Yep.
the bottom and on the right-hand side.
No worries. We're over here, just over this hill here, somewhere on the right area, and everything's right.
Finally, the cavalry's arrived.
Morning.
Thank you guys, sir.
Yeah, how you getting on out here?
Yeah, we're doing all right.
We parked up and made the call and waited it out. So this is day 3.
John, Barzi. John.
And my brother Bill.
Yeah, I met Bill.
Oh, right, okay, up the road there.
Bill was 10 k's down.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
No worries.
We were quite relieved to see that big truck come over the hill, that's for sure.
The crippled vehicle can drive, but its 4-wheel drive capability's gone.
We got movement, but not for this kind of country.
It's like coming out here in your push bike.
The Land Rover weighs 3 tonnes. Barzi will have to piggyback it over the same dunes he barely cleared while empty.
Handbrake work?
To make it back, Barzi will have to adjust his air pressure. This time, he pumps his tyres up to handle the extra weight.
Got about 50 in these now.
But now he runs a much bigger risk of getting bogged. This dune isn't even a big one.
Might get over yet.
But the extra weight is pushing Barzi's truck to its limits.
Bits off.
13 litres of V8 power might not be enough for this heavy hitchhiker.
Give one more go.
$1,440 odd.
Turbo's credit card has been declined and he can't pay for his fuel. He needs a miracle. A passing trucker may be the answer to his prayers. This Good Samaritan offers to lend him the money.
Stoney helped us out of the pickle.
Yeah, been there, done that.
As a fellow owner-driver, Stoney understands crippling cash flow problems.
It's one of those things that happens. You know, if you can't help each other out, what are we doing here? Thanks, Stoney.
Turbo can't believe his luck.
Now, I can get in the truck and I can hightail it out of here. I can make my destination tonight. I'm out of here. Let's go.
But Turbo's got his work cut out. He's already behind schedule.
2 hour delay like that, it throws the spanner right into the works.
And he still has to hook up his trailers. James will follow in a car. This will be loaded onto the road train after their first delivery.
Righto, we're off.
Finally, after weeks of chasing freight and days spent loading, Turbo can make a mile. Next stop, Charters Towers. Or sooner.
Mustering up at the moment. Oh, here we go. Thank you for letting me go, Mr. Cow.
Turbo's desperate to get some road behind him. But his load is now copping 100km/h winds, the same as a Category 1 cyclone. And he's seen something he doesn't like. His quick fix to the walls of the damaged trailer has failed. The side panels are now falling apart.
The wind's blowing inside the trailer and building up pressure, and it's expanding the walls out.
If Turbo doesn't solve the problem, his client could end up with a brake tester that has no walls.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And it's a $30,000 trailer. Plastic.
Feels just like it did the last time I was on here. Shaky.
In remote central Australia, Steve Grahame is getting reacquainted with an old enemy, the Tanami track, and its endless corrugations.
I'll just keep poking away at it.
On the horizon, another hazard looms.
I'm looking at that fire and I'm wondering whether it's going to be close to the road when I get there or not.
It's tinder dry out there, and bushfires can move faster than a truck. Steve's hoping the bolt he fixed on his fuel tank is holding. A flammable leak now would be a disaster.
If it's close to the road, when I get close to it, I will stop and see if I've got no leaking belly tanks or fuel tanks dribbling in place to check things like that.
But only a few kilometres down the road, Steve gets pulled over by a passing mate.
Yeah, roger, mate. I'm just coming up the top of a hill now, so I'll see you in a second. Roger. That's someone just come out of Balgo. They want me to take something back. What do you got, Pope?
20 of unleaded. I forgot to give it to him.
Well, it goes sideways in the toolbox and it won't leak.
No.
This would be the worst freight. I'd rather someone gave me an atomic bomb to cart in there than petrol.
So what could possibly go wrong?
Just what Steve needs. More fuel in bushfire country.
Good drive. Don't change gears yet. Well, I'll be blowed. That's a grader up there. That's a sight for sore eyes. I like graders.
The grader has smoothed the section of road ahead.
How far are you done, mate? Yeah, house on the WA side, eh? All right, mate, no worries, thank you. I'll take whatever I can get. You have a nice day. Well, the news from the grader drop. Oh, shit. Oh, I can't be out of here. That was a big rock in the middle of the windrow. Christ, that'd take out a diff. I would hit something under there. I just hope I haven't hurt nothing. Just something I've got to deal with, so I'll stop and have a look up here.
It's the lowest of blows. Serious damage from the rock could mean curtains for this job and Steve's next.
It's off.
In the notorious Simpson Desert, Barzi has come to the rescue of a group of stranded tourists. But now it's him who could do with some help.
Back to the drawing board.
If he can't make it over this dune, he may need to leave the $50,000 Land Rover behind.
Hello, well done. Give me a slow 10 k's here, get down off this fence line. It's pretty rough on the car on the back. Yeah. Spare tyre fell off.
Corrugations, etc., just bounced off the gas cylinder and it's hanging over the side here, so we're going to put it in the back seat. It'll be a lot safer there. Well, nothing else that can come off, Barzi?
Sure, it's right now. That's the whole Land Rover falls off.
I can keep driving if it does.
The Salt Lakes give a short break from the battering of the sand dunes. But on the other side, a patch of scrub full of tyre-piercing sticks.
Scary through here, all the scrub, Okay, crossing wrong.
Barnsley's tyres make it through.
What do you reckon? Is that, we put that dent in that door, did it?
But the trees still get him.
About 70 k's from home.
Still standing between Barnsley and Birdsville, the mother of all dunes.
I think we'll be going over Big Red on the sunset.
Barnsley's now only 40 kilometres from home, but the desert still has him in its grip.
No easy way out of this desert. Big Red.
At 40 metres high, Big Red is the Simpsons' biggest sand dune. The sunset from its peak is spectacular, drawing dozens of tourists. Tonight, they're in for an even bigger show. Barnsley's taking it on, fully loaded.
Big Red, fellas. Finally made it.
Clamber out of there.
Mate, that was easy.
Mission accomplished. After a 17-hour slog, Barzi, his truck and 3 relieved travellers have made it out of the Simpson, alive.
Plastic.
In outback Queensland, Turbo and mate James are stumped. A trailer they're moving is being blown apart right before their eyes.
Look at this. 1, 2 screws. Where's the other 2?
He needs to find a windbreak for the trailer, and he thinks he's got the solution.
I've got to swap the back trailer to the front trailer to the back trailer.
Moving the trailer into the slipstream of his truck cab might be the answer. He hopes the reshuffle will help, but he can't believe the extent of the damage.
That is un-trucking believable.
Turbo is close to his first drop-off. A farmer outside of Charters Towers is waiting for the water truck. The unload should be routine, but as Turbo reverses up to the dirt loading ramp, he notices a problem.
I can see what I've got to do is I've actually got to make a square face, so that ramp can almost come solid up to here.
Turbo backs himself to complete all necessary earthworks.
So easy.
But making a firm square edge out of soft dirt is trickier than it might seem.
Oh, it's just turning into a hole now. It was a loading ramp, now it's going to be the new swimming pool.
Some finishing touches, and Turbo's masterpiece is complete.
It's been a very long time since I've operated a backhoe. All right, now let's have another go. Crack at this. Bob's your auntie.
The ramp is now ready for a simple unload.
All right, go straight back. Oh, what do we got? The ramp's collapsed. See if you can go forward.
James gives it all she's got.
Oh, you thing! Brakes in this thing is...
Righto. Give it go. Did it. Up.
She's got no brakes.
It's got no brakes.
None at all.